there, Tall Man Clan, welcome back. We are in Auburn, California, and we're doing something really special today. We're at a factory. We're gonna get a factory tour from American Teardrop. Now, these aren't mass producers like a lot of the big guys. They're 100% custom. They build 50 to 60 units a year to customer spec. They come in, choose their colors, choose their options. Really, really cool. We're gonna meet Carl, and he's gonna let us kind of walk around. He's gonna show us how they build these American Teardrops, made right here in Auburn, California. So stick with us, and let's get to it. All right, so this is Carl, the owner of American Teardrop, and we're just gonna ask him a few questions about American Teardrop because we've never heard of him before. And some of it's because it's 100% custom, right?
100% custom.
And customers call you, they've heard of you, somebody recommended them. How do they typically find American Teardrop?
I think the easiest way to find one is to see one and go, I want one of those. So people see them around the country, either being pulled, towed, or at a campsite. And I want one of those.
Where'd you get that?
That's right.
Which dealer? No, we got it from the factory.
That's right. And then they just go to AmericanTeardrop.com, and from there they start piecing together what they want. And like you said, it's 100% custom. They pick the colors they want, they pick the size of the bed they want, and that's where we get started. That sets the frame size. And then some don't want a galley, and some want a galley. And so then from there, they customize everything else.
So they literally get to choose everything they want.
Yeah, stainless countertops or Formica countertops. You can go with just a few cupboards or microwaves and grills, right? So it's a full custom shop.
And what would you say the average weight would be? And I know there's lots of differences because of the variety of options, but what would you say from low end to high end weight wise?
So let's go with dry weight first. Dry weight is around 750 to 1,000 pounds. And then when you begin to add your battery system and your water system, you begin to take on more weight. We've had them go up to about 1,500 pounds.
1,500 pounds?
But most cars, the towing capacity is 1,500.
That's why I'm asking the question, because so many people these days are, oh, it's half-ton towable or 3/4 ton,
That's
or
right.
you need like me, I've got an F-350 dually. I mean, I got this big, rig, and this you can tow with a
Sure. Our largest model is around 1,500 pounds, and you can tow behind any pickup truck. Our smallest one will fit in the back of your pickup truck. It's an Osprey, no hatch, and basically we have those people come up with their electric vehicles and tow those home. So
that's amazing.
It's very light.
So how long has American Teardrop been around?
So the idea came around obviously in the 1930s, and in 2000, our founder Bud, he decided he wanted to get into that industry, and he started manufacturing them in 2000. He had a few plants across the country. But then really in 2008, he decided the way he wanted to do the quality was to be able to custom build them one at a time. And that's what he chose here, kind of a central area. We're on a corridor, a freeway corridor.
Yeah.
And he really started customizing them.
Do you see most of your customers coming from the West Coast?
Well, I'd like to say half of them do, but the half of them are from the rest of the country.
Rest of the country.
We have actually somebody driving in next week to pick theirs up for Thanksgiving, right? That's
nice.
The Thanksgiving gift.
Yeah.
They're driving from Colorado. We just had one shipped to Virginia, two to Texas, so it's around the country.
And you're doing, I think you told me, like 50 to 60-ish a year?
Yeah,
max?
our goal is one a week. Sometimes you crank out a couple extra, and sometimes you take a week off. But for the most part, that's kind of, we're trying to hit that 50 number.
Which is, I feel, is a really great number because it allows you to spend the time, because whether it's a production or a custom RV, they are all handcrafted.
They are.
And the more time you can spend with a unit, the quality of the build is just a higher quality.
That's
and again, this is nothing against the mass production. Heck, I got a Grand Design. I love it. It's great. It's my favorite manufacturer. Please, no offense. But they're spitting out thousands of units.
That's correct.
And so there's a different quality level to that than there is to a custom builder.
Absolutely.
So
we're actually trying to look for the guy who wants something very different, right? Teardrop is fine and the weight's great, but I want feature X, Y, and Z. And that's what we're really trying to cater to. And then you do get quality. If he wants a really super cabinetry, we put Ron on it. If he wants all kinds of steps and cages and boxes, we put Matt on it. Right? So we have different skill sets to drive the quality up for what the customer wants.
It's funny, we were talking about options. When I was standing out front, I noticed the three that you have out there. Each one looks completely different. Like one had the metal toolbox, one had a, I think it was like more of like a polycarbonate or plastic toolbox. Like this one here has the spare tire on the front, the other didn't seem to.
That's
It's
right.
just, and one had a rack on the top for
right.
putting stuff. So I'm assuming size, what's the word I'm trying to, with the size constraints, the options are limitless, I should say.
They are limitless. You know, we go from a complete base unit with a very short tongue and nothing on it with a spare tire underneath to, like you said, extended tongue, boxes and all of that. We even have a 2-bedroom, no bath, which is basically on the top rack you put a tent pop-up, right?
Wow, nice.
So, you know, it really is totally custom for what you want to do.
Wow. A pop-up teardrop.
That's
I don't
right.
think I've seen one of those. I bet if I was driving down the road and saw one of those, I'd be the same way. Hey, where'd you get that from?
That's right.
American Teardrop.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you answering some questions. If there's anything that you'd like people out there to know, if you want to show us, or why don't you just show us around the shop a little bit and tell us sort of how you go through your process? Because I know this one looks to be about done, but you got a frame
Yes.
in the back, like
Yeah.
you haven't started yet.
So the first thing is it comes in stages, right? You make your order and it's about 5 months before we get to building your trailer.
Okay.
It comes in a way of steel and wood. And basically...
So you make the frames
make
as well?
the frames here, yes.
So really,
Yeah.
from ground up.
From ground up.
Wow.
So stage 1 for the trailer is the steel work, and it's all based on size and that, but it's
Yep.
custom built for your requirements.
Same thing with axles. I'm assuming depending on the weight, you might use different
Yeah,
axles.
you know, we have been using different axles, but now we use independent torsion suspension that actually mounts on the trailer regardless of the width, right? We eliminated that axle width issue, and we also eliminated the problem with towing it if you put it at an imbalance.
Nice.
So that's all done first. Once that's done, you'll see the CNC machine start up, and it starts custom cutting all the wood you need for the doors, and then if you have a water port, you have solar panels, what do you have? And so we start custom woodwork. All that gets staged, and that one over there on the ground is staged and ready to start this afternoon. Outside, we got one that's just finishing, putting some detail work and putting some of the features they want on it. This one is getting its basic wiring finished, and it'll roll out to that spot for tomorrow. And then this afternoon, we'll start on the next build.
That's amazing. Now, I'm sure a lot of you out there have seen other factory tours of, the big guys, and it's sort of this assembly line process. But this is low key, if you will, in a sense that it's all almost within this camera shot, but it allows them to get that quality that we spoke about.
Yeah.
There's 3 of you.
There's 3 of us. There's a 4th person will be here in a little bit, but basically there's 3 of us. It takes 3 to build a trailer well.
Yep.
We have 25 by 25 shop with 2 lofts upstairs for all our inventory, and it changes every day what it's set up to do. There's stations. There's the wood station.
Right.
There's the CNC station, but it's all set up in stages. And then the shop changes. I come in early, set the shop for what today's work is, and then the guys come in and work.
That's great. Again, sort of like the bigs, they have their stations.
Yes.
You're just doing it on a smaller scale, so the quality can be at a different level.
Yep. And then we just change it on a day-to-day basis.
That is amazing. Well, I'd like to be around if you ever get to a 50 by 50 instead of the
That's right.
25 by 25, right?
Yeah.
And so that you wouldn't have to turn the shop around every day.
That's right.
You have the independent stations there, and then
Yeah.
But it would still be, I would assume, that 50 to 60 a year, so
That's
that you
right.
can always keep the quality to build up, which is, I'm assuming, the most important.
The most important thing for us and our customers. Yep.
That's right. That's excellent. So we're going to walk around a little bit here. We talked about stations, and so I know over here this is the CNC machine that he was talking about, and wouldn't every woodworker love to have one of these in their garage?
Yeah, it's a really nice unit. It sets up. We can cut all of the pieces of the trailer, including cabinetry faces and everything, all on the machine. It runs half a day for a trailer and cuts everything, sides, panels, cupboards, and everything.
Nice. And the lumber that you're using, is it solid, or is it what type of wood are you putting in your walls?
Yeah, so everything is based on Baltic birch is the base.
Okay.
We'll use a 1/2 inch for all cabinetry. It's a multi-laminate pre-finished wood. So we don't finish it here. It comes finished, and so that's why we cut on the CNC, so it's done perfectly. The
Nice.
sidewalls are pre-finished 3/4 inch, so 18 millimeter wood. Yeah.
When you talked about being finished, I'm not sure if the camera is catching it, but you can see there it's sort of glossy.
Yep.
So it's already finished.
Pretty finished.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ply.
7 for.
7-ply? I know a little bit about wood. That's awesome. Yeah, I've always wanted a CNC machine. Oh my good God.
Oh yeah, it's fun. We do a lot on it.
Oh my, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you have the best cabinets at home too, right? You come here and run it on your CNC machine and build custom cabinets for your house.
Yeah, that's one of our issues is other people like us to do other things.
They come in to pick up the trailer like, oh my God, this is so great. Can you make cabinets for me?
That's right, exactly.
And then over here.
We try not to. We try to stay strictly on trailers. We keep focused, right?
Well, you need to.
Yeah.
You absolutely need to do, right? Master the one thing, right? And obviously over here you got a nice table saw set up and a router station sort of all built into one.
Built into one, 7 horsepower. That thing will cut absolutely anything, including it cuts all of our aluminum diamond plate for our decoration on trailers or our plates on the front. So the blade cuts everything for us.
Wow, that's great. And of course, like a regular shop, you've got, different tools in the back, and you got your drill press and all that wonderful stuff. And
then basically you got our inventory of raw materials over here, which basically gets filled up weekly. So the plywoods, the aluminum sheets, all our sheets come pre-colored.
Nice.
So we have about 16 colors you can choose from to make your trailer. And it doesn't have to be one color. We have people with multiple colors: red, white, and blue.
Nice.
Silver and yellow. So I mean, pick your favorite sports team. We can do that for you too.
Nice. Yeah, I can imagine driving down the road and seeing whatever team driving down the road,
exactly
your favorite
right.
team.
Yeah, there's a San Francisco Giants one running around here in California.
Nice, that's excellent. And he talked about the lofts, and so
the
there's a loft up there, obviously on this side, and then there's another loft over there on that side, as y'all can see. And I'm assuming that also part of what you're doing is stuff coming in when you need it, so that because with limited space.
In the last 2 years, just-in-time purchasing is gone. Right? You really have to get ahead. So what we have to do is look about 3 months of work and plan and purchase. And then when the people ask the custom stuff, that's why there's another delay in the build.
Right.
It's to get the custom pieces they want. So we order about 20 trailers at a time of the raw materials, tires, that kind of thing. And then we order about
Find places to store it.
Yeah, that's why the loft came in handy, right?
Yeah, right.
Where do you put 20 tires?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Over at Jimmy's.
That's right. There you go. That's right. Yeah, we do partner with all the people in here to help each other out.
That's great.
So there's a lot of features we can do that we can go down and call on them to help out.
So interesting, funny story. I mentioned Jimmy. So we're in Auburn, California. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I have an F350, and our brakes were getting a little spongy, and we came here looking for another auto repair place, which is no longer here. But I saw the sign on this building that says Jimmy the Wrench. And so we stopped to talk to Jimmy, and as we were driving by, we saw you.
Yeah.
And so Jimmy's working on the truck, and we're here talking to Carl. Yeah. And so it's funny how things happen like that. And so Jimmy the Wrench is working on the truck. So if you're in the Auburn, California area and you need your car work on, go see Jimmy the Wrench. And if you're looking for a custom teardrop, you got to see Carl. So we talked about the first stage, which was building the frame. And so here's the frame without the axle on it, obviously, right? And so there's your front, obviously. It's just, I find it amazing that you do all of this here, building the frames and everything.
Yeah, we build them, wash them, paint them one day. Once that's all dried and coated, the jacks, which we have several different kinds, can go on the front. That holds the front end up. Like you said, the axles are bolted on independently. These are the axles here that we use.
Oh, there you go.
Torsion axles. Really has made the trailers more stable and better tracking. We just had someone come back and tow it across South Dakota in the snow.
Oh, wow.
He said, the trailer actually followed me. I was very appreciative of that. So yeah, and then stabilizers on the back, and then that gets leveled out, and that's the beginning of the build.
All right, so once the frame is built, obviously, and then the axles are attached, I'm assuming you put the tires on at that point, right?
No, actually, tires go last because we don't want to have to get up to work on them. So what goes next is an underlayment that basically watertights the whole bottom.
Okay.
It wraps around the frame, and then we begin with a 3/4 inch plywood, and a custom floor is built for the unit. And we make them one at a time, so it's an exact fit, right?
Perfect.
Quality differences. Once the floor is down, the CNC'd walls, which you can see over here, that are ready for the next trailer.
Which is the one there, the frame?
Yep, those are insulated and felt carpeted for the inside to create a standard clean look on the inside. They are all pre-cut, like we showed.
I see the routing in the back for everything. Yeah.
All for the ribs, for support for the units.
Yeah.
Lightened panels go together inside to create reinforcement. Once those are all assembled and carpeted, so you get a nice soft feel inside. Those are stood up, the ribs go on, and then we begin building the top of it.
Nice.
The top of it is inside PVC type plastic that basically you use in a shower. Now condensation proof, right?
Right.
So condensation proof, and then on the outside of that is a wood skin to give it support, and then the aluminum goes on the whole outside.
That's amazing.
The aluminum is put on full sheets, and then all the cutouts that are in the doors and top are then routed in the aluminum in place.
In place.
So you get an exact cut for every single one of them.
That's awesome. Yeah, because so many times everything's pre-done to speed up assembly.
Right.
And there's always, a millimeter off here, a millimeter off there.
Set the machine different today, and
yeah,
the angle different tomorrow, and we don't have that. We cut it for each one of them.
Even in my RV, where the door is at the bottom, you can actually see a little light through the bottom left-hand side of my door, because all that stuff is just pre-cut and slapped together and not always exactly perfect.
Yes.
So,
and some of those things are good. Like, we actually leave a gap on our back hatch at the bottom. Otherwise, when you shut it, it blows the windows out, right? Because the rest of it is airtight. You want to stay warm.
Right.
So we actually have a few key gaps that we actually put in place. If those close up too much, it causes other problems.
Right, right.
Yep. It's also insulated with R19 level insulation. It's actually used the aircraft or what we call space shuttle insulation inside the roof to create a super warm. People go and get somebody to come back and they were in 17-degree weather outside and a little tiny space heater inside, and their trailer was plenty warm.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is truly amazing right there.
Yeah.
Because that is a big thing for RVs, is having some sort of thermal break between the inside and the outside. Again, I continually revert back to mine because it's what I'm in, and it can be a little cool inside, when it's cold outside, and so obviously we have the heater throughout. But it'd be amazing to be able to heat an entire RV with a small space heater. And it stay cozy.
Stays cozy.
Right? That's great.
We say ours are sometimes cool, but never drafty. Right? There's not cold air coming in anywhere. Yeah,
no, exactly. Like in our bedroom is up in the front, and you can feel the coolness through I'm laying forward, right? So north to south, if you will, and so I can feel the coolness while I'm laying down. I'm assuming from what you just told me.
Very little of that.
That's amazing.
We have the insulation and the air gap.
That's amazing. So then after you put all the decking and all that stuff that you're talking about here, and then move it forward, or is it all done here?
Nope, spun around, move forward, and then we begin the cabinetry work, both inside and outside, and that's a little bit different part of the crew. There's all the cabinetry. Each one is custom fit and then trimmed out. This particular unit's going to have a stainless counter tomorrow, so he gets stainless in here.
Nice.
He wants a stainless with a cook stove, so this pull-out will be full of a cook stove.
That's great.
And then this is our refrigerator and ice chest slider. Basically, you can pull it out and the top can open. We have a 12-volt refrigerator on this unit.
Perfect.
And it's all driven by our solar, which is kind of what we're working on now. We put the solar and the lights on the exterior.
Nice. So this one will come equipped with a solar panel already?
Yeah. Our 12-volt solar package, right, comes with the batteries up front, which can go anywhere from a 24 series car battery up to dual lithium batteries, right?
Nice.
So you can stay off grid for a couple weeks.
Yeah, exactly. With this thing.
That's right. And then solar panels go from 100 watts to up to 300 watts of solar on the roof, and we can pretty much fill everything around the outside of the fan or the vent with solar panels.
Is that actually, that's the solar panel?
Yeah, they're flexible. They bend in shape.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I would not.
That's a 100 watt unit. We have 100, 180, 200, and then you can do multiple panels.
See, it's flexible. Look at that, curves. Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, the only panels I've ever seen on the top are, big rectangle, hard, and mounted up there, and so.
Yeah, we've actually have a couple units out there. We have one with 400 watts They are longer and they bend over the front and a little bit over the back. No matter where the sun is, you're getting quite a bit of power, and they'll charge your batteries back up during the daytime, even in the slight cloud cover. If I put this outside, it'll start generating power.
Well, I guess that's a huge benefit of using the flexible panels, and on top of that, the teardrop, because if you have them a little in the back and a little in the front,
right,
you're literally catching the sun from every angle.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. And
Wow.
they power everything. The power fans, you know, we're drawing air in and out. We have a lot of our folks who need medical equipment in the units, right? That can run off 12-volt CPAP machines and the
Yep.
like, right? It can help keep it recharged so they can run those things as well.
Now, you talked about your customer with the space heater.
Yeah.
So is that something that was pre-installed, or is that like you go to Walmart and buy a little space heater?
That's great.
Are there heating or AC options, I guess is what I'm getting at?
Sure, we can install all of those options. Air conditioning, like a little, what we call a condensation cooler, right?
Yep.
And space heaters that are basically heat plates, so you can plug into shore power and use 110, or a little 12-volt, you know, basically teardrop-sized blow dryers, right?
You're right.
Mounted in strategic positions and then turned on, right?
Yeah, because look, the reality is it's a teardrop, right?
Yeah.
It's not 400 square feet of living in there, so you don't need a massive blower, massive heater, and the way that you're insulating it, it wouldn't take much to warm it up and keep it warm.
Inside here, you can see that. There's not a lot. This is a California King inside, and when it's done, it can have
Like a true Cal King.
true Cal.
Not like an RV.
We have no RV mattresses. If you pick your size of mattress, you get the whole thing.
Wow.
And basically, out of below that cabinet, the heater or air conditioner will blow vents down towards your feet and cool it off. Most people don't use the air conditioning because the power fan and our sliding windows, right? Just put the window up, latch it in place, turn the fan on, and it sucks the air right out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just absolutely, the craftsmanship, is just absolutely amazing. And I know I talked about stopping for Jimmy, but while we were talking with him, I was just distracted the entire time by the teardrops, right? And so before we came over here to speak with you, I'm outside, I'm looking at them like, wow, these, absolutely beautiful. Let's go talk to them. And so I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
And so from here, once all that is done, you move them outside.
Yep.
And you see there's a couple out here right now. And this is sort of where you do sort of all the finishing touches, right?
These are finishing touches and repairs. This one's the finishing touch. We had heavy dew last night, but you can see it's completely dry inside.
Yep.
And this guy wants a lot of accessories. So we have our custom-made American Teardrop roof rack.
Nice.
Which is compatible with all the bike rack manufacturers. So you can put all those accessories and tops and then we have awnings on here on the side, and we actually have awning rooms so that you
Wow.
can have a room outside.
Wow.
For extended stay. This particular unit will actually have steps so you can climb up on top. We're doing some upgrades for this guy, and then we'll do all the finished detail work.
It's awesome. And he's up there putting on the roof vent now. It's a
Yeah.
Max fan, as you guys can see.
Yeah, he had a standard fan, and he took the trailer off for a little while and said, "Hey, listen, I want the Max fan so that I can have the fan open in the rain." Some products are just built in a nice way, right?
I
Custom
absolutely
stuff.
agree.
And
Absolutely
you
agree.
can customize anything. This is his dog leash, and in here he didn't want cupboards inside, so he has a dog bed. If you want to look in there, his cupboards, the two border collies jump up
Look at that,
in the dog bed.
right? 100% custom, guys.
That's what you
Have
want.
it built your way.
That's right.
That's awesome. Well, Carl, I only have one more question for you.
Okay.
It's the $1 million question, because my subscribers, they're going to want to know. So from low to high,
Yeah.
ballpark, what would you say from low to high would be a cost for a custom teardrop?
Perfect question. So the smallest model starts at $8,000, and the largest model starts at $12,000, and then you customize from there. We usually see about a $14,000 kind of the average once people customize them, but some folks like to go up and get themselves a $25,000 unit.
Okay,
and
okay.
everything they could dream of in there.
Hey, look, that's why it's a custom shop, right? And
right.
so you can have it your way.
Yeah.
So, but that's great. So somewhere between 8 to 12 from the smallest to the largest unit. And then once you start adding any of the custom features, you could get maybe as high as 25 if you sort of put everything on there and the
Everything
kitchen sink.
on. That's right.
All right, well, look, Lisa and I want to thank you so much for spending some
No,
time with
thank
us.
you.
I know we interrupted your morning and was unexpected, but we just thought it was going to be a unique thing for you guys out there to see is how a small custom manufacturer goes about their business of creating these RVs for us. Whether it's a teardrop or a fifth wheel, it doesn't matter. When you're talking about custom, there are smaller shops, and the quality is at a much different level, which is also why they're typically a little bit more expensive. But most people would pay the couple of dollars extra to have these things right the first time. So you don't have to take it on a shakedown. It's already been shaken down before you leave the shop with it. So thank you again. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And
How did you guys stop by?
yeah, not a problem. And for all of you guys out there, until we see you all again, be safe.